here, well, I'd love to say that I have here, okay, but we have in Kelly's house, we have Kelly Kahn, who is, once you just share, we want Kelly to give us an introduction to our day and to be able to share with us our connecting space of what emotional well-being means for us, for her, and just through the day. Please just relax, take in what you can, and if you do miss something, it's all going to be recorded, and it's a process. The most important thing for us to all know that this is a process of growth, and we don't get there in a day. It's a working process. So Kelly, I can see you there in my corner, and I'm going to welcome Kelly all the way from, she comes from South Africa. I was interviewed the other day and asked, where are you from in England? And I was like, hello, can't you hear? I'm South African, okay? But first and foremost, we're Jewish women from all over the world, and Kelly is now living in London and here from sunny Joburg. Hi, Kelly, good morning, how are you?
Hi, Joanne, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so we'd love you just to help us understand a little bit of, you know, give us a bit of an introduction into what we're hoping to at least achieve a little bit in our real space of emotional well-being.
Great, thank you. So thanks, Joanne, for inviting me to speak, and thank you to Speed. I actually normally, I normally don't speak to groups. I normally one-on-one with my clients or patients, but just like to impart a bit of knowledge that I've, you know, that I myself have gained over the last, I don't know, 20 years or so. Jen, I just wanted to check, can you hear me?
I'm just going to unmute. Yes, we can hear you. If
great.
Anybody has any problem anytime during the day that they can't hear, please just either raise your hand or make sure you send us a chat. And the other thing is, on your chat, you can send any questions, and we will have a little bit of time for questions. But if in the middle of the talk you have a question, just send it on your chat and we'll check that before we go on to the next, okay? I'm going to mute myself, then it's easier for you to talk, but I'm here.
Great. I mean, I actually don't know what's gone on the screen. I'm only seeing you, but that's fine. That's good. You're a great face to look at. Thank you. Okay, so
what I said was, if you want to view, there's on your corner, there's a thing that says gallery, and then you can see everybody.
All right, great. Thank you. I'm not the best technically. So basically, what I found for myself in the last 20 years for well-being for myself, which I just thought I would share with you, that if I listen to my body, when I say body, I always incorporate mind and spirit. So if I listen to my body, which body, mind, and spirit, I just find that I just lead a happier, more fulfilling life. You know, it's full of meaning for me. And the way that I do that is that I breathe, I ground in the moment, and I really listen and feel the sensations of my body. There's just so many sensations that are always going around, and I feel like if I'm on a hamster wheel, I'm not grounded, I'm not actually aware of what's going on, and life just passes by for me. So I just thought I would just like to share with you what I do before I see a client. I mean, I will go through that with you, and actually, I mean, it seems a little bit long. I'll just share with you what I do, but I also can do a very, very short 15-second process, you know, maybe before I'm cooking, or before I'm lighting the Shabbos candles, or before, you know, collecting my children to be more present and be aware. So I take a deep breath. I think most of us don't breathe enough. Most of us, I know, I mean, our lungs start from here and go all the way down to the tip of our ribs, and most of us take about a third. We use about a third of our lungs when we breathe, and unless we're doing a meditation or a yoga class or Pilates, we breathe deeply. And obviously, the more we breathe, the more oxygen we're oxygenating our body, and the healthier that we are. So breathing really, really, really is important. And you know, just normally with breath, if you are, I don't know, if you every time you're driving a car, when you get to drive a car again or walk, make a point in your day to actually breathe. Fill your lungs with air and breath. And then grounding. Grounding for me is really, really important. So what I do is I always visualize the roots of a tree. For me, I really do connect with trees, and I just find the root system goes deep down into the earth. So if I visualize roots coming out of my feet, going down into the earth, I definitely feel more grounded. And it's really, really interesting. Roots of trees, they found that they all, if you're in a forest, all the roots of the trees connect with other roots. And if one tree is lacking in nutrients, the other trees actually feed that tree through the root system the nutrients. So it's, I suppose, you know, if we're grounded and connected, we can connect more with other human beings and really feel that we are one, like actually the trees really are. Then what I do is I connect with my heart, and I find that with a heart connection, just life just seems really better. Sometimes it's hard to connect with one's heart. So sometimes even just placing a hand on our chest or thinking of a person, of a place where we really felt happy or felt love really, really helps to connect. I found that for me, it really, really helps. And then I always set an intention. And an intention, so if I'm working with a client, I'll ask for the intention for deep healing to occur and for the healing to go wherever it's needed. And I find that in life, if I set an intention for whatever it is, even as I said before, making a meal or spending time with children or with friends, the connection is to really whatever you want to do to make it special. But that intention I find is really important. If I'm working a client and I've set an intention and connected with my heart, my reflexology session will be so much better. It really will be. And I've used it even in times of, it sounds strange, finding a parking. If I can connect with my heart and really and say my intention, and it really feels that I've connected, it really does miraculously work. It's quite amazing. And after I've set an intention, I go back to my heart, and I know in my heart, I just know that whatever I've asked for within reality is going to be done. And that's how I've always worked, and I find it really is, it helps. So I just thought maybe we could just try this as an exercise now together, just to go through it. So I'd like you to all please, I gather most of you are sitting or lying, just make sure that you are comfortable. And I'd like you to take a deep breath in. And when you breathe in, I'd like you to fill your lungs with air and make sure that the air is going all over to the sides and the back of your lungs. So take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with air, and slowly exhale. If it's easier, you can close your eyes. And again, take a deep breath in, feeling your lungs lifting and expanding. You'll feel your diaphragm lifting up. And slowly exhale. And just for now, let's do this one last time. Slowly inhaling, feeling the air going into the front, the back, the sides of your lungs, your diaphragm lifting up. And slowly exhaling. And I think most of you probably have your feet on the ground. Feel your feet on the ground and visualize roots coming out of the soles of your feet and connecting, going deep, deep down into the earth. Just take a moment to really feel grounded. Sometimes it helps to actually look at the plants. Some people can do it in their mind. Just stay there for a couple of seconds. And now let's move to our heart. If you want to actually touch your heart, you can. Some people can do it without even doing anything. Or think. Think about someone you love. Could be your children, a partner. You could say a prayer that connects you to Hashem. Anything that makes you feel love. Just stay there for a moment and really feel connection with the heart. That's great. And now I'd like you to set an intention, and let's set an intention for today. What would you like to get out of today? Some time for yourself, learning something new, feeding your soul. Just stay there for a couple of seconds, setting that intention. And now go back to the heart space where you were a few moments ago, and just know that that's going to happen. Hopefully you all feel a little more grounded and more present now. And I know I did say before, but so this process did seem, I don't know if it took a minute or 2 minutes, it did seem long. You can condense it. It can, I mean, once you do it often, you can actually do it within 10, 15 seconds. 10, 15 seconds. I know we live such busy lives. We really do. It's non-stop. But just to remember to take out these seconds, you know, all these practices are really, really easy. Most spiritual practices are easy. It's just about remembering. So it's about stopping, just making that time to stop, to remember, to do this for ourselves, to really nurture ourselves by doing these few moves. I just would also like to say that I use this very similar method. I just wanted to share with you, which I find has really helped me over the years. You know, it's a little bit different, this process, but if I find myself feeling really angry, if like someone has really angered me or a situation, or I'm feeling really anxious or disconnected for myself, I can often disassociate or feel numb. And I find that's harder for myself to actually realize that I'm numbing out or disconnected. Sometimes it's easier if I'm angry or anxious. But I find this process really, really helps. So what I do, the first step, also, I mean, I can, if anyone wants this, I can type it out and give it to Joanne afterwards. It seems like it's long, but it's actually very, very quick. So I scan my body, and generally for me, it's either my throat, my chest, or my solar plexus. So I scan, it's generally one of them. And for me, mostly it's my throat. I find a sensation. And I find for me that if I use a sensation word, it just helps to calm my nervous system down a lot. I don't know, I just found that over the years. So say for instance, I'm feeling really, really angry. I'll find my throat will probably feel very tight, clogged, blocked, and maybe a bit hot. So firstly, I find that I'm aware that I'm feeling angry, and then I just stop for a minute, go into where I'm feeling this, feel the sensations. And then I try and find another neutral part of my body that's feeling okay. Sometimes if one is in a really, really bad state, they can't even find or I can't even find a part of my body that's feeling okay. So it's all right, even if you find your toe or the tip of your earlobe, find another part of the body that's feeling okay or neutral, and then again find a sensation. So I was in my throat was feeling all of those sensations, blocked, hot, tight. And then say maybe I might go to my thigh, and my thigh, what sensations am I feeling in my thigh? Because my thigh is feeling neutral, my thigh is feeling spacious, it's feeling cool and floppy, it's feeling like it's got space. And then straight after that, I go back to what we spoke about before, resourcing. So I go back to a time in my life where I find that something made me really, really happy. And the more I use that resource, I find the better it is for me. So say it was on a holiday with my family, actually like trying to listen to the kids laughing, even if I bring in sounds and smells that will help me remember just how happy I was in that time. I find that's really, really amazing. So that's resourcing. Then what I do after, you could stay there for a couple of seconds or even a minute. It depends how long that you have. I go back to the original sensation in my throat, and say originally on a score of out of 10, where 10 being the worst, say it was an 8 out of 10. It's now probably dropped to a 5 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10. And it might have even dissipated at that stage. If it hasn't dissipated, I go back to that same step again, going back into the throat, seeing what sensations are there. Maybe it's not so hot. Then going back into another part of the body. It might not be my thigh at this time. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever your mind goes to is the correct thing. Your body knows how to heal itself. It's really, really amazing. Just trust the process and your intuition. So maybe it'll be my thigh, maybe it will be my toe, and then again I'll go into those sensations. Then then again go back into resourcing. It might be the same place at the same holiday that I was thinking about before, or it might be something else. And then by that time, I'll go back into my throat, and every single time I've done this, the sensations have, those horrible sensations in my body have left. And I found that it's really helpful to release all these sensations for the body. Otherwise, I just find the body stores our body stores all these negative emotions, and it's not great to keep them in the body. And at the very last thing, once you finish, is just to ground yourself, and actually just to feel your feet in the ground and take a deep breath and carry on with your day. Before I carry on, I mean, I don't know if anyone has got any questions or anything.
Let's just have a look in the chat and see. Okay, good morning. Okay. I think that message was for me. Please close your WhatsApp window because you can hear all the beeping. I've done that, I hope. Click, okay, then I got a hi booby from my granddaughter. There you go, love that one. And both through the nose, was that the question? Can you breathe in and out, both breathing in and out? Can you breathe just through your nose, or should you be breathing?
Okay, so I breathe in through my nose and my mouth, my nose in and out through my nose, but different people use different things, and there's many different types of breathing. Some people, I know, even they're doing exercise, will breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth. You want to always breathe in through your nose because your nose makes the air warm for your lungs. So you don't want to breathe in through your mouth. Breathing in through the nose is always good. I mean, it filters, the nose has actually also filter all the particles that shouldn't be going in, but the most important thing is also getting warm air into the lungs. So definitely breathing in through your nose. I breathe in through my nose and out through my nose, but you can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then just the second thing I thought I would speak to you about is, for me, a big thing for wellness is looking after, again, my mind, body, and spirit physically. I know later you're going to be getting a talk on about your relationship, one's relationship with food, but I just thought I would just briefly touch on that. So the foods that I eat are really important. I think that we all know what we should be eating and what we shouldn't be eating. We all know the foods that are good for us. And it's just about nurturing ourselves and eating the good foods. And there's just so much science around at the moment. So for instance, with sugar. So if one has a lot of sugar in their lifetime, it definitely increases the chance for Alzheimer's and dementia. Whatever we know now, whatever goes on in the gut is going on in the brain. The two are connected. So if one is feeling foggy in their brain and just in their mind, they can't think clearly, they're more anxious. I mean, learning disabilities is just, it's endless. We really, really know it's really important to eat well. I mean, just to look at, you know, I understand life is really busy and it's really full, and just to take the easy option out, getting food that's full of preservatives, but those preservatives, you know, in cold meats and a lot of the hummuses and things like that have got bad preservatives in. You know, and as I say, I know it's hard in this day and age when life is so busy to make our own stuff or to find alternatives, but it really is an important thing. And then also the drinking, to make sure that we hydrate properly. And most of us are walking around so dehydrated. And obviously to have good quality water. We don't want to be drinking water out of plastic bottles. Firstly, it's toxic for the environment. And the phytoestrogens leak out of the plastic bottle and come into our bodies, which mimics estrogen. It's just not a good thing. To get a good water filter in the house is probably the best. And to really make sure that we hydrate, not having cool drinks, not having diet cool drinks. I find so many people are having diet cool drinks, which are just, it's shown, I mean, it's toxic. It affects the thyroid gland, which controls our weight in the body. It's really important. So we want to really nurture ourselves. So drinking and eating correctly. And then the second part about physically is what, for me, what I inhale and what I put in my skin. I know obviously outside, we've don't really have much control over what we're breathing in. You know, the fumes. I mean, I think at the moment the air pollution is probably a lot better in London. than it normally is. But in our homes, we can really control what's going on in our homes. Firstly, with our cleaning products. I mean, I think if one had to read the label of the cleaning products, one might be shocked. And you're inhaling these, or I mean, even sitting on the toilet, you know, having cleaned a toilet or having those little, I don't know what they're called. I don't have those little things that attach to the toilet. They're toxic for the body. The same goes for body creams. One reads the label. Actually, if you Google on the internet, or I can again give to Joanne a list of all the toxic chemicals that go into a lot of these products that we put on our skin. Sunblocks, body creams, and it goes into our system, goes into all our body organs, our lymphatic system, our blood system. So I think that just take care of ourselves by what we're putting into our body. And the same as also breathing in. There's so many amazing candles, but a lot of these candles they give off toxic fumes. I mean, when I say toxic, they're not healthy, and it's accumulation every day. So every day of breathing in these incense, there's a lot of these incense sticks that we put in, unless they're made out of pure essential oils, it's not healthy for us to be breathing these in. So if you can, once you finish them, you know, if you're not using natural stuff, maybe try looking to getting natural things. I mean, I've seen over the years of people with, you know, terrible eczema or itchy skin, and because they're washing their sheets in chemicals, you know, in normal washing powder that are laden with chemicals. And then thoughts, you know, thoughts are really hard. That's another thing that comes into our body and mind. Thoughts just arrive in our minds. We have no control really what arrives in our mind. And we know as Jewish women, Lashon Hara, we don't speak that thought. But I just wanted to share something with you. I mean, I think it was about 20 years ago, I was having negative thoughts in my mind. I don't know if I was watching the news too much, but it really, really affected me. Then I started playing out these thoughts in my mind, and negative stories like we all do. I mean, just can create negativity. And I just, it actually even affected my kidneys. My kidneys felt sore. And in Chinese medicine, kidneys, you know, fear is related to kidneys. And so what I did is that I stopped. I just said to myself, it took me about a month. For about the first week, it took me time to actually realize I was thinking negative thoughts. And then when I would say, I will not allow you to enter my mind or my body or my spirit and leave. And then I would replace it with a positive thought. And over the month, it took a while, over the month, I found that I never had any negative thoughts coming into my mind. And still, it's lasted about 20 years. That training for about a month really has helped me. And occasionally I've noticed over the last few years, every now and then a negative thought comes in, and then I wonder, I go into a deeper process myself and, you know, think, why is this thought coming into my mind? So those are the things that, you know, that I found that has helped me. And actually what I also found has helped me a lot is that when one of my daughters was younger, she was about 5 years old, I noticed that I really took time in how I spoke to her, you know, and in the food that I prepared for her, making sure that it was very good quality food. And I just thought, you know, I've got my little 4 and 5 year old self inside me, and I would never speak to myself like I would speak to my younger self. So what I did is I found a photograph of myself from when I was 5 years old, and I put it next to my bed. And so every morning and every night I would look at my 4 and 5 year old self, and I just found that for me, seeing a child just made me feel like I wanted to take care of that child much more than I would my adult self. So, you know, in terms of how I spoke to myself and how I nurtured myself on every level. And actually just separately to that, I actually, after doing that, I actually did that for my husband and myself, is that I took a photograph of him as a child and I put it on his side. I think I put them together. I can't remember, it was such a long time ago. And if we ever got into an argument or whatever, I would actually like realize, okay, it's generally coming from him as a 5 year old and me from a 5 year old, and just to like think of him, you know, as a 5 year old or me as a 5 year old. And I just felt for me that it helped me nurture myself more. So I think, I don't know, I think I've run out of time. I don't know how I'm doing for time there.
Okay, I mean, does anybody, you're doing very good for time. We've got another few minutes. So if anybody has any questions or anything that you would like to ask, hang on one second. Okay, I'm just trying to see what questions, if there's anything that's personal. Okay, do you have any psoriasis cures?
Psoriasis is a tough one. I know I actually suffer with psoriasis. It's a really, really tough one. And I actually got psoriasis terribly when I was 4 years old, and then it's come at different times. And I used to get very frustrated when people would say to me, "Oh, it's stress." And I was like, everything's stress, everything's stress. But actually, if I ever get psoriasis, I find that I tackle it from every single angle. When I was younger, I used tar was around, but now I use more natural remedies. So I find that I would definitely work psychologically. I found that acupuncture has helped me. Diet is really, really important. Obviously, staying away from, you know, all the triggers, wheat, dairy, spices. And actually, I mean, for myself, I played around. I mean, I do love coffee. And for a lot of people, coffee is very, very acid. But for me, I found that when I had a bad psoriasis outbreak, for me, it was okay if I had a cup a day. But generally, anything spicy, stay away from for psoriasis. And then I would do a lot of breathing. I would have therapy. I found therapy was really, really important. So I think, so I said, I did acupuncture, I did reflexology. I try to target it from every single angle, emotional, everything we can deal with. I found over the years and with my patients, emotions are really, really important. You know, I always found if something came up in my body, if I worked with it on a psychodynamic level, psychologically, most of the times I would find that things would leave. I'm just trying to think what else. I mean, for psoriasis, and also I would put on natural, I'd find natural. Actually, in South Africa, I found which really, really helped. It's you can't get it in this country, and it's not. I would put cannabis cream on, which really, really helped. Actually, taking the THC, it has no effect. It's, but I found that really, really helped as well. To put that on, and probably maybe CBD oil would help to rub on. I used the other, you know, THC actually in an aqueous base. It was very, very, very subtle. I mean, it's not addictive. You couldn't feel or sense anything, but it really, really did help.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Kelly. So now I'm just going to, and it's going to be a quick answer, and hopefully, as the weeks and everything go by, I have to tell you, for me, this is like, it's taking everything that I wanted to try and do. And I just thought, you know, if we don't do something, this is what today is about. Let's just do something is better always than nothing. So my 2-day retreat in Kent, please God will come. And I think that the funding will come and we'll all be there, please God, together. I'd much rather do this in Yerushalayim, as everybody who knows me knows, and maybe that's going to be a reality at the Dead Sea is really going to be, that sounds awesome. So there's just one thing, and maybe you can just give us a quick one, because it probably is a yes or a no. But somebody just asked me, I don't want to miss this out. So at the time when there's a lot of negativity, have you now had any more negative thoughts?
I have actually at times. So I had I can't remember why, I had a bad breakout. I can't actually, sorry, I'm gone a bit blank. I had a bad breakout of psoriasis about 2 years ago. And I just, like, I was dealing with my thoughts. I did feel a little bit negative. And so I was walking in nature the one day, and I like, for why are these thoughts coming in? Like, why are these negative thoughts coming in? And I actually played with myself. So I just, the thought would come in, and I felt angry. So I took a baseball bat and I just visualized myself, you know, kicking the thought out of the baseball bat. And I thought, no, actually, let me go down a level. And I took that thought, I found it with love, just like with love, and I sent it away. But if generally find that they go out.
Oh, there we go. Done. Okay.
Sorry, so I find, you know, if they do come back, it's maybe for a day or two, and it goes again.
Okay.
They generally don't come back.
Amazing. Kelly, thank you. I've had a lot of very nice things. Everyone's just saying thank you so much for sharing. And
thank you.
Yeah, so we will have everything, as I said, recorded. Now, what we're going to do, girls, in between each session, just so that we don't get anybody stuck to where they are sitting, we're going to just take a 1 or 2 minute, literally 1 or 2 minute break. Okay, we're just going to give you a little bit of calm and more relaxing, because I don't know if I really want to move now, Kelly. So it's just been great. Maybe just get a cup of tea, and that means obviously herbal tea, a good rooibos or something like that, okay? Or a glass of water, or 1 coffee a day, which mine is already, already finished. So just really, Kelly, thank you so much for sharing. And we're looking forward to everybody sharing and having a wonderful day together. And again, if there's anything, please feel free, but we're going to have our 2 minute break now. See you all very soon.